Hello, everyone, and welcome back to This Week in Guns, brought to you by Patriot Patch Company, VZ Grips, and Primary Arms. This show offers you the latest commentary on the most interesting, late-breaking firearms industry late news for the late firearm models. We also do information and buzz. I'm your host, Matthew Larosiere, and I'm on here with my co-host, Shawn Heron, my dog Rose, and also a homeless guy that won't leave the studio.
Yeah, we can't get.
I won't leave the studio.
Thank you for reading that verbatim from the script that we gave you.
I want some quarters.
The good ones too.
Hey man,
okay, I just need like $5 because I filled up $3, but then the inflation and now my truck's stuck over here awkwardly in the parking lot. And
I have a degree.
Yeah, and if the cops show up magically, I'll be able to start it.
Right. Hey man, I just need a couple bucks for gas. I ran out. I'm on my way to visit my mom in Tulsa.
Yeah,
and
I ran out of money because I had to buy prednisone for my pregnant wife because that's what that means.
Yes.
Yeah. No, the thing is, it's just $1.50 that I need because the guys at the AutoZone said they jumped my car, but it costs $1.50, and I'm stuck. I'm stuck right now. I need a.
So we've all heard this before, then.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. That's great.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
What was funny is that $1.50 one, to jump the car, was the grifter who would hang out in front of the Advanced Auto Parts that I worked at.
Oh, Jesus.
And on one day I go in there not working, he decides to stop me, and I was like, bro, we don't charge for jumps.
We just got to cover our electricity cost.
My worst homeless encounter to date was there was a gentleman. Well, he might not be homeless even. He probably had an apartment, but with a handout kind of thing. Sue's she was driving and like the Jeep she was in just died in the middle of the road, and she was only a couple blocks away. So I went down there and started to try to help push her out of the road. So, I set up my car in the other lane and I put on the hazards for a second. We're doing the whole thing safely to get her across, a little section of like what's supposed to be a 35-mile-an-hour highway. But of course, nobody's doing that. Mm-hmm. So we got it all flagged out. Well, we've got people participating, but there's this one guy that's like looking for a tip, essentially trying to play like he's helping when he's not. And so he just runs out into the lane and starts flailing his arms before we're ready to get across, to the point that another car had to stomp their brakes, and then they got rear-ended, and it caused a massive pileup. And we're like, well, traffic stopped. I guess we can cross the street now.
What the?
He just ran in the road and caused an accident.
I mean, he was helping. Like he actually did help.
We were fine.
Yeah.
But
did he speed off immediately after that?
No, he definitely wanted $60.
I mean, I've paid more for crappier shows, honestly.
That's true. That's true.
Anyway, it's Othias. It's Othias, by the way. I don't think we said that.
I'm Othias.
Oh yeah, it's some guy. He has an old gun, and he keeps talking about it. It's weird. No, but seriously, you guys can check him out on C&Arsenal. He does a good show. He is. I
thought it was C&Arsenal.
I don't want to film like the same gun for 3 episodes in a row, just slightly different, and just keep re-releasing the episode and just being in complete denial that it's the same gun.
He is the only guy who does accurate reviews on historic firearms.
Yeah. I don't review them.
Or
tells the story of historical firearms.
I document
the only guy who accurately provides documentary video on historic firearms. The only one.
Yeah, there's no other guy.
Yeah. And May's there too.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a May. Yeah. And he has a dog named Bergman, who's such a cool, funny gun guy. Funny. Anyway, it's really a shame about the homeless, right? And there's so many ways that you can wind up becoming homeless, but I think that most commonly, the way gun guys find themselves becoming homeless, they're giving me the worst looks, is by spending too much money on equipment and not shopping for deals. And so I think there's one friend of ours that can keep all of us out of the homeless bank. And who would that be?
I thought they got kicked out for not using coupon codes.
The
wife finds out that they didn't even use a coupon code, and
on the street,
instant divorce.
Mm-hmm. Instant divorce on the street, and guess what? She keeps that last order.
Yeah, well, when you don't want to be in family court saying that you didn't do your duty to get the best,
right?
Exactly.
So, in order to stay on the right side of whatever line it is that we, on home having.
Mm-hmm.
You should do your shopping at Primary Arms. They support the show. They support us. So do us a favor, support them. We can see here that they have a weekend sale. Okay, this is big.
Oh man, is this like that R&B guide the weekend, or is this like just because Saturday is tomorrow?
I don't know, but look at this. They have a Colt 6920 extreme lightweight edition. Look at this.
That's a firearm.
It is very extreme lightweight because
I'm helping for the audio listeners.
Yeah, it's a Colt with no handguard, no stock.
But it's got a pony on it, and for a pony, it's only $800.
Yeah, and it doesn't have the bottom of the trigger guard either, so you got to add that.
Well, that's because you're gonna listen.
Lightweight, bro.
Grams make ounces, and ounces make pounds.
Yeah, and pounds equal Poseidon.
That's true.
So
that's true. What else is on the weekend? So that's actually kind of a good deal, though, if you're wanting to get something actually Colt marked. HKP 30 629. What else?
Is that body armor for sale?
Yeah.
AR 500 armor level 3.
Move along. I don't
That's level 3 though.
I don't criticize them for carrying it. I just don't want to talk about it. Okay,
that's fine. They do have bonus bucks.
Okay, so I'll weigh in on it. You guys, it'd be perfectly fine if you just also wore gorget like the guys used to do.
Fair.
But I do have a set.
You could save a ton on body armor and not worry about schvaling if you just had a gorget, which is a really cheap thing to get.
Now, to be fair, this isn't the steel armor. This is the WEPE, the UHMWPE. This is that plastic, It's like the coaster material.
Oh, you're 3D printing body armor.
Yeah. Oh, dude, that's a good idea. That's a great idea.
Nothing
this is really slick. And these are on the weekend sale.
What is
Superlative Arms bleed off adjustable gas block clamp on. They're titanium. They got a whole bunch of different models, but that's kind of nice to be able to tune your AR.
Oh yeah, these are pretty much the only adjustable gas blocks that I use is the SA.
Nice. Well, yeah, it's there on stock, and you get 30s bonus bucks within 3 days of product shipping.
I thought they sold optics.
They have that too. They do.
And in fact, if
I'm
you buy
let you
an
in
optic,
on a secret. We're going to let you in on something.
Okay.
Tell him, Matt. Tell him.
All right.
Get him.
So you go here.
Come on.
You go to optics, and you go to Primary Arms, right? Scopes.
Yeah.
Primary Arms scopes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You buy one of these boys, and you use the code Foxtrot Romeo November. That's FRN. They are going to mount you for free.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
And by that, I mean they're going to send you a mount. I think you have to do it yourself, but that's a free mount.
It is.
That's big. All right, guys.
It's like $100 value.
That's at least 100.
It's not only that.
Satoshis.
Don't even. Minimum. You don't have to figure out whether it's like a 1-inch or whatever tube. It's already there. Like a lot of people don't know how to Google that.
Yeah, 30 millimeter, 34 millimeter. Come on, get out of here.
Yeah, I don't understand numbers, and so I'm just going to put in those 3 letters, and then I'm going to get the right thing. All right, it's simple, guys. This isn't hard to do. So, and for all of our deals, be sure to go to frn.deal/PA to see what is latest and greatest with our ongoing wonderful partnership with the glorious, wonderful, handsome, beautiful Primary Arms Corporation.
And that'll do it for the show.
I own one of their LPVOs. I like it.
Yeah, that's it for the show. All right, guys, have a good time.
Yeah, good show.
Just kidding.
Yeah. All right. Well, so blasting straight through, we know that Georgia really. What are you doing? What do you keep doing?
He's waving around one of those little pocket 22 mags.
Yeah, he's waving around one of them North American arms.
I want to be like Alec.
Listen, man, it's not time for that discussion yet. But I'll show you up. You think you're so cool with your little North American arm? I got a Colt.
Yeah, that is cooler. Well,
okay,
no.
Yeah, I spent big money on this. It was $80 at the pawn shop.
Yours is a single shot, though. Mine's not.
Yeah, but that's all you need.
Well, I mean, if it's 45 ACP, yes, but
I want to point out if anybody's an audio listener of the show, I am too, and it frustrates me too that they just wave things around in front of the camera.
Listen, this Colt single shot tip out Derringer device thing, one shot of 22 short in your pocket. You're gonna sit there and tell me you need more than that?
Nope.
That's right.
Well, Matt selected that pistol specifically because if an iguana falls on his head, he can shoot directly into his own face and it won't penetrate the entire iguana.
True.
It's good for that. And the guy who sold it to me, is this wonderful pawn shop in West Palm Beach, told me that it is ideal for particularly feisty cockroaches.
God, can you imagine? It freaks me out, actually.
Well, anyway, Georgia became the 25th, and everybody says constitutional carry state. That's stupid. All of these laws are constitutionally suspect and violative. The fact that some people now don't need to get a permit, or most people,
we declared Constitution.
Constitution.
I declare Constitution. That's how you get out of any speeding ticket. You declare Constitution.
I'm a traveler.
Yeah, I wish to proceed free on my way, but it's that flag gold fringed. Anyway, I hate the term constitutional carry. It's permitless carry. That's what it should be called. But anyway, Georgia was the 25th. We've got a few states jockeying to be 26, 27, 28, however it's going to come out. But we got breaking, and I always love when they include breaking in the article title as if the thing isn't going to stay on the internet.
Yeah, right? Exactly.
No, they broke it.
So they broke Governor Ron DeSantis' holster.
I'm not going to lie. What? When I saw the headline in the notes, I was like, oh, wait, does he actually own that company?
No, he does not. Why don't you read the notes for the audio listeners?
The notes say, getting back to it right now, says...
Wait, the recent comments, is that what we're talking about?
No, Matt put the headline in the notes that says, DeSantis holster predicts Florida will pass permitless carry. So I was like, why do I care what DeSantis holster says?
Then after that, I put a Governor Thumbbrake himself.
So anyway, Governor DeSantis has said that he's confident that they're going to pass permitless carry, but he called it the wrong thing. And
right.
Yeah.
But he didn't say when. This is the quote from Mr. Leather inside the waistband himself. Well, the one thing I wanted the legislature to do, and I think we will do it, I can't tell you exactly when, but I'm pretty confident I will be able to sign a constitutional carry law into law in the state of Florida.
I mean,
it's just a matter of time.
It's good. It's good.
And then he took a swipe at Florida Agricultural Commissioner Nikki Fried, who oversees Florida Concealed Weapon and Firearm Licensing Program, is running to replace him as governor.
Does Florida have open carry?
No.
Mm.
Oh, yeah.
Unless you're going to a hunt.
South Carolina did the weirdest version of this ever recently, and it's just so friggin' South Carolina.
Yeah, why don't you tell us about that?
We have permits, so you have to take a course and a test.
Right.
Which I'm not a fan of all those extra barriers, but that's what it is, right? But we didn't have open carry because open carry would be impolite. And so they decided to go over to a permitted open carry. So if you have your concealed carry, you can open carry, which is it's really fun for me because actually a buddy of mine ended up sort of writing the state guidelines on this because it became this really weird issue for the police because they have this thing where it's like you have to be suspected of committing a crime before you can just ID somebody.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like we don't have stop and frisk essentially here. So the problem is going to training. A lot of the new officers, especially we get some transplant officers now, we're going. Like if they don't have the permit, then they're in trouble. And it's like, right. And it's like, okay, so I can stop and ask them for the permit. And you're like, no. And you're like, well, it's like, well, they have to be suspected of a crime. Well, yeah, they might not have a permit and they're carrying. And he had to be like, no, we don't stop motorists because he's like, if you stopped a car and said, I wanted to stop you because I don't think you have a license, they're like, oh, that wouldn't go well. And he's like, okay. If you stop the man carrying the pistol and say, I don't think you have a license to carry that pistol, that's equivalent to stopping the car and saying, I don't think. And so you had to like go.
But they're carrying gun.
Right. I don't want to out anybody, but like the levels to which he had to go to get this clarified because there are people above him going, but they have gun. And you're like, they don't have to wear the permit and a lanyard around their neck. Like, sorry, right. Man, you have to suspect them of some other crime, and then you could. So it's a complete nightmare way of doing this, and it kind of flies in the face of how it should have been done.
That's so weird.
All the older guys wouldn't vote. Like, they had no support for permitless open carry because that's not polite. Like over and over and over again, it would just be the older guys being like, "But then they know you got it," or, "Well, that's just rude." Like just over, not the danger, not like the
right.
not my. It was just like, but then guys would do that and they'd look stupid.
True, people do generally look stupid when they're open carrying.
But the other thing
that's not a reason to say that you should go. It should be a crime.
The other thing that shook out conversation is a lot of people on the police side of things are just like, again, not accustomed to being, we're in a city center where I'm at, and they just do things like, okay, but if they have like a rifle, that's not good, and they're like, but we don't ban open carry of long rifle at a state level here.
Like at all.
And like, what? They're like, yeah, the municipalities try to do it, but it's never really been tested. But like, no, long rifles are fine. And like, what? And it's just like, yeah, we've always been allowed to carry long rifles, and they're going, what? Like, but what if it's an AR-15? Yeah, that's fine too.
Right, but long.
Also, by the way, it's been legal forever, and you haven't seen anybody doing it. That might be a sign that you should stop worrying about the open carrying of pistols.
Exactly. But what if it's an AR pistol? Dun dun dun.
Actually, that gets weird because we have open carry long rifle. Technically, we have open carry pistol with permit, but there's a length limit on the pistol.
Oh my god!
So what happens? Like, I don't understand, because then it's like, well, I'm just carrying a long arm, which I'm allowed to do. Like, what? What have we wandered into?
Right. Yeah, this is why laws are bad. Like,
are bad.
Abolish all laws is what I'm saying.
Yeah, in Florida, there's the open carry, and people will get mad if I say there's no open carry in Florida, because there is. If you're fishing or you're on your way to some, it's completely.
You're allowed ridiculous. To do it if you have an excuse, and you have to answer us when we ask.
Yes, and the police will sit there and detain you and bother your stuff and maybe break something, right, forever, but. So the concealed weapon part of Florida law, as it is right now, is actually quite broad, and it's specifically that you can conceal carry a firearm or other weapons as well. There's one exception, and I don't understand why.
Okay.
So you could, if I had a rifle under a really slick trench coat, totally okay, right?
Okay.
If I have a registered machine gun and I conceal it, that's a crime.
That's why you have to hold it out and walk around like Army of Darkness. Like, yep, this is mine.
This is my boomstick.
You cannot carry a machine gun under Florida law, which is just so stupid.
It really is.
Do you see those Uzis in like X and Y movie?
Yeah.
There's a million Miami movies with Uzis. Like, got scared.
No, you know what? I've got the real one. I've got the problem.
He's got to go get it and show it to us.
Yeah,
there he goes.
He got it right here.
Does he know that this is primarily listened to by people and not
listen?
Like 98% are audio.
Is it actually?
Yeah, the broad majority of people consume this as audio.
Yeah.
Matt has stood up and gone to the gun wall where he ruffled about for a moment or two, and then he returned.
A beige man went to the beige wall for the
and
beige
produced
gun.
An original, in all its glory, two-tone Intratec Tech 9 made in Miami, Florida. From the very sight of the firearm, you are able to tell that this was the impetus for these restrictions.
Yes.
It's not Pilato unless you file the firing pin.
Don't say it.
Help.
That's something that Matthias and I were talking about the other day, is how you see, and it's generally, people get mad when I say it, I'm going to say it, sorry, gun boomers who will be like doing something so completely innocuous and lawful and like feeling like on this huge high, like they're getting away with something. Like there was a time, and I told him, he's muting his mic to laugh.
No, I was doing it to click this revolver without clicking it.
Dude, Othias should be on the show permanently because he mutes when he's supposed to. He reminds us that this is an audio show and we need to describe what we're doing.
It's because I listened to your. I know neither one of you go back and listen to the whole stupid thing on your phone.
Not anymore. I used to.
No.
Well, I watch it as I cut it up.
It doesn't count.
Yeah, watch it with your eyes closed. And
I have to watch I make 2-hour documentaries.
Anyway, I had recounted to Othias this time where I was talking to somebody who was, setting his gun up. He's like, okay, and now I'm going to stone the seer down. And then he looks at me and puts one finger over his mouth and goes, shh.
I'm going to make the trigger pull better.
Yeah, it's like,
first of all,
what the fuck is wrong with you?
How dare you?
Did he retire down there from New York, though?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if he was born in Florida, but like that was his like big thing that he was getting away with. He was going to stone the seer.
Yeah, these suckers don't know.
Yeah, they don't know.
Who gets mad when you say gun boomers, by the way? Gun boomers? Like
the pain to imagine, yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't take a tremendous amount of thought to presume these people who are upset are the people we're describing.
I see them often in my YouTube comments because I'll post about like my everyday carry and they'll be like, woo, Trump. And they're like, you know, got to have freedom because freedom's the most important thing that ever happened. And freedom's the only thing that we have that separates us from the chimpanzees. And I'm like, bro, what does this have to do with my Glock?
Whoa. The chimpanzees masturbate wherever they want.
Yeah, actually, no.
Like chimps never play better. Yeah, they're way more free than we are.
Well, first of all, so do I.
And no one does anything about it.
Speak for yourself.
I have never shit directly into my hand and thrown it at somebody I don't like.
Okay, that's fair. I have not either.
The experience.
Like, could you imagine how freeing that would be? Like, no. First of all, every day I gotta wash myself and put on pants. Those guys got it figured out.
They wake up, snap one off, and sling a turd.
Hey, there's Randy. I hate that guy. Ah!
Oh, that felt good.
Like,
I know what I'm doing.
You yell, like every time you thought, like, oh, I want that guy to eat shit or whatever, you could literally throw it at him, at his mouth. If you had a chimpanzee constitution instead of the stupid human one we have.
This is freedom like I've never experienced.
Yeah, this is maybe I don't want true freedom.
Return to monkey.
Yeah, return to monkey.
I just knocked 5 points off of Matt's libertarianism.
Title of this episode: Big Chimp Energy. Moving on.
There's a fine line between libertarianism and monkey capitalism.
A chimpocracy.
Chimpo capitalism. Or anarcho-chimpism, perhaps?
Yeah.
It takes a little longer, but we'll eventually get Shakespeare.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah. Oh, just put so many typewriters.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. All right. Okay, boys. So next up, Othais, I know you're a big Twitter boy. He tweets very hard. He loves the Bird app.
I actually have been trying to get our St. Ursula account back from Twitter, and they won't let us have it.
How'd you get banned?
I did. I deleted it, and then somebody scooped. I guess you could scoop the name after a certain amount of time, and they scooped the name, but everybody keeps tagging it, and it has no followers. And I'm just like, you guys keep tagging a non-existent account because it got banned for I don't know what. I can't figure it out.
It was probably trying to scam people out of money.
That's what I don't. But the problem is, so I send Twitter a thing about it, and I explain the situation very clearly. So they re-enable the account, but won't give me control over it. And I'm like, no, you just gave the spit. Like, it's just idiots. You just re-enabled the fake account, but you won't give it to me. So it's even worse than if I just not bothered.
Right?
They're smart.
Yeah.
Well, they got purchased by the Long Musket.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, according to some people, the question asked by the Ammo Land, will Elon Musk change Twitter's ban on advertising for weapons?
No.
Yeah, probably not.
Maybe.
It's possible.
He did. The one thing that comes out in favor of it maybe coming back is that he did say that he would define freedom of speech by what is legal. Like, he made one comment to that effect. So if that's how he's going to go, now he could just be lying. But from the only projection we have, the answer would be yes. Of course, he might just be a hypocrite like everybody else.
Right.
Yeah.
And I mean, he probably is, right? Like, this is not a guy that lives in the same world as we do. Free speech doesn't mean the same thing to him as it does to us, is my guess. Like, I think that Elon Musk is an interesting personality, and I find some of the things that he does interesting and funny, but, like, I don't think that he's on my side. I don't think he's on the side of the Second Amendment, ultimately. And don't forget, like, the meme going around talking about, like, political contributions for all the big tech companies, and Twitter's, like, 98+% Democrat. Like, this is a big, huge institutional culture that has to be changed. Like, literally the laying off and removal of like thousands, tens of thousands of employees that are just going to sit there and screw over the system from the inside until they get caught and fired.
Maybe he'll just actually set them all on fire.
Right.
But to be fair, you can change. I mean, leadership can change the course of a company. It can. The big question is going to come down to what are his priorities. Now, we know he's probably not a strong gun owner because he is so wealthy.
Actually,
if I had that much money, I would not have that much money because I would have bought every stupid piece of crap firearm I could lay my hands on. And eventually, it will start to eat into your budget. Now, the one way that Elon could be a gun owner and still be very wealthy is if he used coupon code FRN over it.
So actually, I am aware from somebody who had worked on his ranch that he did construct a private shooting range for himself there.
And I'm fine with
something.
that. Yeah, I'm fine with that. By the way, Matt, you just said set them on fire. I am literally banned on Facebook for a month right now for saying exactly that. Someone was like, "Hey,
you are banned on Facebook every month."
Yeah, someone was like,
get like little, you know the short story All Summer in a Day. That's you. That's sunlight for one day on planet Venus, and you stick your head in and say something horrible on Facebook, and you're banned again.
No, it was the dumbest thing. Someone was like, "Hey, should I fire this employee that did this thing?" And I was like, "Sure, set them on fire or whatever." And boom, 30 days.
Shawn was extra good for an entire 2 months on Facebook just so he could announce his engagement, and then he went right back to shit posting.
So that was the first comment that I had left on Facebook in over a month, and I was like, this. It never even crossed my mind that it would be.
Did you get married already? You just got engaged.
No,
he got
married.
No. Just engaged.
That was the marriage? I thought that was the engagement.
Yeah, that was the marriage.
We're getting married.
That's why the dog looked confused.
Yeah, that's why the dog was weirded out.
Just like, we're doing this outside? Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
We're getting married May 4th on Star Wars.
No, you already got married.
You can't boss me into it. But yeah, anyway.
We literally don't know what Musk is going to do.
No, we don't. So many people are like,
so
I'm getting back on Twitter.
This is where you had mentioned, Elon Musk tweeted, he did put a bird message out that by free speech, I simply mean that which matches the law. I am against censorship that goes far beyond the law. If people want less free speech, they will ask the government to pass laws to that effect. Therefore, going beyond the law is contrary to the will of the people. That's a very confusing,
I cannot wait for him to realize how many things are illegal.
Right.
Because a lot of them are.
Right.
Well, he is a self-proposed or self-purported free speech absolutist.
I don't believe that, but okay. I would love to see that, but there's no friggin' way, because that would be I work with a group right now called Utreon. That's an alternative to Patreon and YouTube, if you can't guess by the name. And the guy's very big on people saying what's legal and out there, but he also has to have limitations in the sense that it will not be marketable. You know what I mean? You will have these mass waves of uninvolved advertisers, uninvolved businesses. People will vacate certain spaces if certain things happen over and over and over again. And so there has to be a realistic boundary. And a lot of people make the jokes. It's like, sir, this is an Arby's. You know what I mean? There's a time and a place for certain things. And yes, free speech is great, but you're at the Arby's. Please put your pants on.
Right.
And so you have to kind of decide what Twitter is going to be. There are free speech-ish places, mostly free speech places on the internet. They're usually a revolving system of chans that then start arguing over whether or not they're free speech enough, and then break off into other chans or whatever services. So but you don't see businesses hanging out there very often. And so you have to sort of create the family mall versus, you have to create spaces that are defined by your values,
Well, so this is an interesting point that Musk has made. Free speech is the bedrock of a functioning democracy, and Twitter is the digital town square where matters vital to the future of humanity are debated.
Yeah, but you have to
if he's taking that position and he's able to, and I don't actually know what the terms of the deal are, and control hasn't been wrested out, and it won't until at least October of this year. But kind of knowing what's going on in the mind of the multi-billion lizard that's taking it may or may not be indicative of what's going to happen. So I guess all we can do is watch. But as always, I do not trust the lizard. I feel that the lizard is bad and a liar, but maybe it's a good one this time.
I mean, no matter what happens, I think Twitter will be better.
Yeah.
Even if he closes it, and just like shuts it down, and locks the doors and burns the servers. So that's probably bannable on Facebook as well.
Listen, Twitter is for posting pictures of cute anime girls. I don't understand all of this First Amendment stuff that you guys keep talking about. I've never seen any of that on Twitter.
True.
So I don't even get what the problem is, but maybe whatever.
To be fair, I actually believe that the Second Amendment community does have to kind of plant their flag on social media and especially online banking. Like being run out of PayPal was a major blow to gun trading. Sorry. If we're not careful, if we get run out of both social media and merchant services, then we're going to lose the Second Amendment, not to any illegal action, but to the terms of service. Like we have to watch technology. A lot of people I talk to in the 2A community are like, I can't wait for driverless cars. I'm like, are you high? The minute you have a driverless car, they're going to say you can't own it. You can only lease it. And the terms of the lease is going to say no firearms.
Right.
I guarantee you it will.
Totally agree.
So you better be pushing, gentlemen, on the digital front. You can't just ignore it. It's coming for you.
Yeah. Oh, and honestly, yeah.
And get a carbureted vehicle. They can't trick it.
Yeah. You can put a lawnmower carburetor on it, apparently.
Yeah. And don't get OnStar because they can disable you remotely. And yeah.
No, do get GM cars. They're better, but just rip out the stupid box.
Okay.
Did you rip out the stupid box of your...
No, we're not doing car chat. Go. What's the next gun topic?
Othias is hired, actually, just for the record. He is my new replacement.
You guys suck. I hate you guys.
Okay.
Anyway, Alex Baldwin, he did acting. He was on Leave It to Beaver. He was on the Addams Family. This is a big guy. He did The Price is Right. This is one of the biggest top celebrities, and he, has been in the headlines lately.
What are you reading?
Of course,
because that was a very, very odd choice of pop culture references that are in no way related whatsoever, nor is any of that true.
Listen,
so anybody that
shot a guy.
Yeah, anybody. Well, no, he shot two people. For anybody locked in a cave, they were filming. They had a scene. He had to draw a single action revolver and cock and not fire it, apparently. Mm-hmm. But he did fire it, and or it fired itself. Ooh, this is up to debate. Oops. But what was not supposed to be there was a live round, which apparently was there. It went through, I can't remember their roles now. It was a woman who is not a director, but maybe cinematographer of some sort. I can't.
Yeah, the director of cinematography.
Yeah. And then it went into the shoulder of the person behind her, who was he the director? I honestly don't remember their roles now.
Something like that.
Two people behind a camera. And so the woman was killed, the man was injured, and they pulled a bullet apparently out of his shoulder. And a lot of that information has been released to the media now, including the initial police interview with Alec Baldwin. Mm-hmm. And they actually released some of the footage of the scene before the gun went off. Actually, apparently supposedly they released it with the gun going off, but I can't find any of that. And the family's upset that they actually released that footage, but I can't find it because it's being, sort of censored for family audiences by the news media, and I'm not sure where they released this packet for public consumption.
So this is the rehearsal of the draw.
Right. So Alec Baldwin's supposed to draw the revolver from concealment in his coat, cock it, and point it threateningly. He describes this in his interview with the police, and he says, he didn't touch the trigger. And the problem is the one bit of footage that we have is he's definitely riding that trigger. His finger is on it the whole way through. When he cocks the gun, you can I believe it's kind of hard. It's going fast, but I believe you can even see some bounce back of him riding the trigger.
Yeah, we're showing it right now.
Yeah. You'd have to really slow it down, but.
Right. And the location, this is really difficult though, because a lot of the, internet gun commentators were looking at this and making for one, these shots that we're looking at now are not the shot, right?
Theoretically, they're supposed to be. It's not supposed to be the moment the gun went off, but this is supposed to be where the camera was positioned.
No. I mean, not the time. You know what I'm saying?
It's supposedly that he puts it right back in his coat, does it again, and it goes off.
This camera shot is not the gun shot, is what I was trying to say.
No, but this is the practice for the exact gunshot that happens seconds later, apparently, according to how this is worded.
Right. And so people are obsessing and fixating on that his finger is on the trigger. And people are opining that they're saying two things. Well, one, that there's no possible way that the gun could have accidentally gone off from him thumbing the hammer. They're saying there's no possible way that it could have gone off without, pulling the trigger. And we'll talk about that. And then they're also saying that because his finger was on the trigger, he violated one of the 4 rules, and thus he's bad man, and he needs to, be punished.
Well, essentially, Alec Baldwin makes 2 claims. One, that it was the armorer's job to make sure the gun was empty and that he never inspected the gun, and it's just not his fault, period. And then 2, he did not fire the gun fired itself. So essentially, he's trying to put up 2 layers of defense to that he's responsible for this. And the one side of it, you can argue all day from a legal perspective as to who's ultimately responsible for the security and liability of this. As a gun owner, we have a different level of standard than a legal standard. You know what I mean? Because we're going to say, well, if you're handling a gun, you need to treat it like a gun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's another layer to this that's confusing the conversation people are having. But then third, a lot of guys are having this sort of mechanical conversation about what a single action army is and isn't. And because there's so many reproductions in the market, a lot of modern shooters are completely unaware of. They go by what is being marketed as a single action army, and they think this is a single action army, and mechanically it's quite distinct. And so they're not understanding the limitations of, not only do yes, he has a single action army in this footage. There's not enough footage for us to identify who made that. So that gun may or may not have the same lock work as an original single action army. It may have some sort of weird safety lock work that was put in later years from reproduction companies. Like it could be a number of things. And so everybody keeps trying to make these sort of total statements, and we just don't know.
Right. Yeah, no, there was a interview with, what was his name? Mr. Jonathan Herrera and Rakita Law.
Yeah, Rakita Law and Herrera.
Yep. And they were, he had this, what you were calling a 3-click, which are more modern. And most of these 3-clicks have a trigger block or a hammer block of some sort.
Yeah, okay, so here's how it works. The Colt Single Action Army is literally a single action only revolver. You must cock the hammer and pull the trigger. The trigger has a sear surface that engages directly on the hammer, so there's no intermediary sear whatsoever. Because of that direct connection, the only safety on an original would be what you would call the rebounded and half-cock positions. There's 2. So if you start pulling back the hammer on a single-action army, the first click that you hear is going to be a rebounded position that keeps the firing pin away from the primers. But that's
only about like 1/8 of an inch or more.
If it's very short. And that's where you would normally carry the pistol, with the hammer mostly down, but not be able to touch a primer. And in that regard, the gun would be quote-unquote safe unless it was dropped directly on the hammer spur very harshly and cracked or somehow deformed that sear surface, which can happen. So the next click you would hear would be the half-cock position. In this position, you can't pull the trigger just like in the rebound position, so it's also a safety position, but the cylinder is free to rotate. That allows you to load and unload the pistol safely. Then the next click you hear, because they call it a 4-click, is actually what's called a locking bolt. It's the cylinder stop engaging, which holds the cylinder aligned with the barrel. And then the 4th click is the actual full cock position. That's the sear clicking into the hammer, and then that's at full cock. So what people don't understand about single action armies is that because of the 2, the rebound position and the half cock safety position being capable of taking a lot of damage, so if you drop the gun onto its hammer while it's resting in one of those positions, you start deforming the sear surface, especially with old metallurgy, not necessarily new metallurgy, but I've seen poor reproductions that do the same thing. I've handled a number of these guns over the years that have had problems with the sear surface. And once you start deforming the sear surface, even if you don't crack, because you can hardcore crack off one of those notches if you're not careful, but even without cracking it, you can smear that trigger sear surface in just such a way that sometimes it engages, but it engages very gently. And if you rock the hammer or you ride it just wrong, it'll slip. And sometimes it just wears down to the point that it doesn't really engage at all, and you can cock the gun all the way back and you let go and the hammer just falls. However, the prop company should be responsible for making sure that doesn't happen. So that would be a liability on the prop company's side. However, again, that doesn't really make sense. Why would you ever have a live round in the thing with a camera in front of you, no matter whether you trusted the hammer or not? So it's this huge stack of people confusing issues. The short answer is yes, a Colt 1873 can fail mechanically in several ways. Not just the sear, you could also have the trigger return spring fail. I've seen them fail too. And then at that point, because there's no direct pressure on the trigger, you would not have a full cock and you would slip and fire. However, it's far more likely, given the footage that we're seeing, that Baldwin would just road the trigger, because in a Colt single action army, if you just hold the trigger back, the hammer will just fall. Nothing catches it, which is why you hear that's what people would say about fanning the hammer.
Yeah.
You would hold the trigger down and just pop that hammer back. So mechanically, yeah, something can break. It probably didn't, but to sit here and say that it fundamentally can't is also a little bit weird. And why would you even involve that in the story?
Right. And I guess since you kind of brought in legal standards and liability here, we have to remember there's two different areas of law that this could be involved with, right? There's criminal liability, which is what a lot of people are clamoring for, and there's civil liability. To be criminally liable for something like this, there's a scienter element involved, where and scienter meaning it's the guiltiness of your mind, it's your intention. So on all the way down at the bottom level, negligent homicide, it's that you were behaving under the circumstances in such a way that is objectively negligent. Objectively, you are not putting in enough care. And that has to be proven beyond a reasonable doubt to be, again, criminally liable for a negligent homicide. I don't know how it's specifically defined in whatever state that this happened in. I just feel that, especially on a criminal level, all of the different levels of people that were involved here completely obviates a criminal analysis. So I don't even think there's a point in discussing whether or not he's criminally liable. I think he's obviously not. In terms of civil liability, that's a different thing, because I do think that this was his production, wasn't it? Like,
yeah.
To my understanding, yes.
He was a producer on the production.
Well, so then even when people say, "Oh, well, that's on the prop house, that's on the director of, their armor or whatever," well, he's still the one who hired them, and he may have negligently hired them.
Now the question is, would there be a pass-through lawsuit, though? Essentially, so in other words, you would sue Alec Baldwin as the producer and owner of the show, essentially, and then he would then have to sue the prop company for those same damages, because ultimately they were supposed to absolve him of that liability.
So those are, yes, that would be him making another claim, which he can do, to try to mitigate some of the damages that would go against himself. But given the nature of the production, it seems to me like it wouldn't be necessary, right? Like the plaintiffs wouldn't need to attach liabilities to all those different companies, because
they would. A lot of people don't understand this on the law too. You target who is the agent to you. So if the harmed party didn't have a contract with the armorer, they had a contract with the production company, then the production company would be who they went up against. And then the production company, if they were wronged by the armorer, would then go after the armorer for the same amount, which is very unsatisfying to people, but that's the way the custody works in these things.
Yes, and that actually does change on a state-by-state basis. And generally, you don't need contractual privity anymore to recover against a company, especially in a situation involving something where there's foreseeable risks to other people beyond the scope of the contract, as would certainly be the case here. And some states have joint and several liability. Some states have different forms of liability. Like some states have it to the point where you could only sue him for the percentage that he was at fault. But in most jurisdictions, you can basically recover 100% against this guy, because that's the one you picked, and then it's up to him to be like, okay, you screwed up too. You come here, and that's just the nature of the way these things work. And all of that to say, the people who are saying, "Oh no, he's not responsible, it's the prop company or whatever," well, he hired him.
Yeah, but it is a little interesting, because people are trying to argue whether he's responsible or not in the moment of pulling the trigger or not pulling the trigger, being the guy with the gun. But it's weird. His responsibility is actually less the fact that he was the man with the gun. That's how we see it as shooters. Right. But in a legal sense,
Yeah. I think that Baldwin, the actor, probably should be held blameless, because he was doing his job as an actor. But I think Baldwin, the producer, has a lot of stuff coming for him.
Yeah, as a human being, I don't think he's culpable. meaning I don't think that he has a guilty mind and ought to have a guilty conscience, although he, certainly feels guilt, I would presume. I don't know how actors think.
There is one potential change in this, which is that I have heard whispers, and I have not been able to confirm, that the armorer was not alerted that they were using the firearm for filming in that moment. And so it may be that the actor took a firearm without the confirmation from the armorer and used it in a scene, at which point then this would sort of, again, Baldwin in trouble, but it would flip down to that lower level that people are like, well, he's responsible because he had the gun. It's like, yeah, actually, at that point, if you're taking the gun without the expert's opinion, the problem is on a direct as the shooter basis, if you're being told you're just a lowly actor, here is a professional armorer, and they're telling you it's okay to use this like a prop, you have a lot of legal defense there as the actor,
So do you think this
supposed to be it?
This is it.
Matt's showing me a piece of evidence. The only problem I have with this is Baldwin in his own interview said that he selected a brown-handled revolver with wood grips, and this is a black plastic gripped, very dark revolver. Do we have that?
Well, any number of things could have happened, but this is.
I don't know. Well, we have the immediate footage. I don't know if we can make out the brown grips or not, but I always am careful because I just don't really trust.
Right? Yeah, and this was picked from a. I'll be honest, this was picked from an article that is not entirely trustworthy, but assuming it is something like it, assuming arguendo that this is the gun, it looks quite clapped out.
I would be really, as a matter of fact, if you look at this one,
and this is legit wear too, like it's not, you can tell it's not just corner polishing.
No. If this is the gun, you can even see that the screw for the locking bolt has been replaced at some point because that's not even a factory screw.
Right.
But this would be a really weird choice for a prop gun for this kind of production because it doesn't. I mean, it's just jet.
It's
black.
not right.
Yeah, it does. It's like a post 1891 cross pin and all sorts of stuff going on with it that just doesn't seem right for a good cowboy movie.
It's funny that you mentioned that because I was just looking at the footage of Baldwin and I was remarking to myself how dark the footage is and how they had to put a light on each side of the barrel of the gun just to set it apart, just to actually have it show up in the footage, just that rim light from both sides, just to outline the barrel and actually make it visible in the scene.
Here's a still from the scene.
Yeah.
Can you make out the color of the grip at all?
I cannot.
No, it's very tricky.
Go back to.
I just went through it and I couldn't tell.
The point being, though, is this needs to be like the problem is a lot of people are jumping the gun on what they are saying happened because everybody wants to sort of be an overnight expert on firearms.
Right.
And it's just like, well, hold on. I know you think you know what a single action army is, but in the modern context, we don't have a lot of consistency.
Yeah, we have no idea what this gun is on the inside. But I mean, in either event, though, it is possible for mechanical surfaces to fail in such a way that this could have happened accidentally without touching the trigger.
Right.
We're not saying necessarily that he didn't. The other interesting thing that he said was that he didn't perceive recoil when he fired it.
Yeah, but that can be whenever
shock.
Yeah, a lot of people don't notice it in shock. As a matter of fact, that's why I don't want to be morbid, but I really wanted to see the footage of the actual shot, which supposedly was released, because we would
see his wrist. Yeah,
we'd be able to perceive recoil. I mean, he has a very loose, relaxed grip on it. He has his finger resting on the trigger. He clearly doesn't think it's about to go off because he's holding it so relaxed. And I just seeing actors shoot, that's not the usual. Yes. There's just not enough resolution in this video for me to be able to see for sure if that's the same gun or not. But if that's the claimed prop gun, that's a pretty roughed up prop gun too.
Yeah, it's pretty legit. Clapped out, but we don't know what it is. We don't know anything. We're just a couple idiots on the internet. Hooray! Let's move on to the next story.
But everybody likes talking about this one and claiming that they know everything.
True. Yeah, I think Matthias and I might do a little bit of a video on this later on.
I really have debated just sort of being like, all right, here's the ways an 1873 can fail. I'm not saying it did.
Yeah,
but for God's sake, don't say they can't.
Well, I think we could combine it. You do that, and then we talk about the legal standard, and then to be like, hey. So do you get it now? No, I know. It's complicated.
This is why it has to go to court.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's hard. Right. Anyway, have you ever gone to the gun store and been so frustrated that there were no guns designed specifically for the biomechanics of your female hands.
Yeah, Springfield.
Okay, were no functioning guns designed specifically for the biomechanics of your female hands.
JK. No, I mean, being a man, no, I've never had that happen to me.
Yeah, anyway, whatever.
I've heard of that.
Yeah. So, well, it is a real thing.
Yeah.
And my
Women have
favorite
hands.
pistol company. Yeah, women have hands, and they're different. My favorite pistol company has come out with the F series.
The F stands for femoid.
I do love Walthers so dearly, but this is like pretty horrifying marketing.
Well, that's just because you have man hands.
I mean, the way to market this, at least the way to market this type of thing, in my opinion, is the way the Shield Easy was done, where it's like, yeah, this is just better. And if you have weaker hands or are old or a woman, perhaps this will work for you. Right?
Yeah.
But like the PDP feminine seems kind of exclusionary to, like, you know, if you're an old man.
You are kind of cutting off your like male market because they're like, I don't want the girl one.
But you know,
I want one desperately.
First of all, how do they not partner with Lisa Frank? Like, if you're going to go that route.
Well, they did do Gabby Franco, and I think that's basically the same thing, just Latina.
$699.
So what's the magazine? 15 plus 1, and I guess the grip is designed for smaller hands. Is that it?
You know what's going to happen? I'm going to go to the gun store. I'm going to pick up this gun, and it's going to feel
great.
so freaking good. And then
awesome.
Suddenly I'm going to be like, it's ma'am.
I have a PDP. I have the long slide, and it's a wonderful gun. I'm going to get one of these.
The F? Yeah.
What? Yeah, no, I mean, but I am an insane Walther completionist, so I'm going to need to get the F model. I just like,
oh man,
reading this was just, I don't know. I feel like this was a bad move.
I think they probably could have been smart and released it with like some sort of branding package, but it's the same shape.
Right.
And so they could have done like the small hand version, and then they could have put like more colors on there and call it the female version, because the kind of person that's going to fall for female version will probably fall for the color change.
Right.
But it does feel a little bit weird to like limit the gun to just women.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, yeah, I guess just by the model though, because by the look of it, it doesn't. There's nothing.
No, it looks awesome.
It does actually.
And I want it, but it's like. And they're saying
maybe like the Model 8 or something like that.
The PDP F series is the result of a revolutionary approach to creating a pistol with female shooters in mind. Walther Arms took the difficult task of developing a mid-size frame handgun that offers high ammo capacity with a smaller grip, shorter trigger, and excellent ergonomics like no other. The F-Series is the best tool in the market for self-defense, law enforcement, target shooting, and competitive shooting. Makes me proud to be part of a project to bring a pistol that contributes to many women's quests to become better shooters.
That copy is not written for women.
No. Well, that was spoken by a woman. I'm sure she didn't just speak it, on the spur of the moment. I'm sure it was written, and she just sent it in as her statement. But because, first of all, Gabby Franco, English is not her first language. She is an awesome shooter. She's a very nice lady.
Awesome.
I really like her.
Oh, that was by Gabby Franco. She's cool.
To be fair, I think designing a pistol around like the specific needs of women is very interesting. However, I don't. Does it say anything in here about concealability though? That's the number one complaint. It's not the grip. Like, I haven't heard a ton of complaints about grip from women. I've heard a ton of complaints about, well, you don't understand how difficult it is to conceal when your hip line is like the most prominent part of your, body shape at that level. Because men, it's like we hide it up. We extend our chest line by putting on a dad shirt and rock the gun on our hip. But with women, you're supposed to have the hip exemplified, so therefore you can't necessarily carry on the hip without immediately printing and blah blah. So like that's usually where I hear the problems.
Yeah, I'm kind of all for this, honestly. Like, I think that it's great. I think that Walther actually making a gun and saying this gun is specifically made for women in today's market and world and universe is just kind of an awesome thing, because it's great. You got Beretta over here making a gun for Jeffree Star and pink and ridiculous, terrible, awful gun. And then you've got Walther coming out and being like, hey, this is a gun made for chicks. That's all there is to it. Here it is. What do you think?
Have they done anything to reduce slide weight? Or not
They
slide
reduced
weight,
pull weight.
Okay, that's good. Like those are the things that you hear about. But I agree with you though. You might as well market it towards the infirm as well. And I don't mean to say that insulting.
Or just like I thought I loved Smith & Wesson.
One day, if I make it to 80, I'm gonna want something that's not messing with my arthritis.
Right. Yeah. And so you're gonna go for the Walther F series.
I think Walther is just getting us one step closer to idiocracy. Their next gun, they'll be like the PDP-R made for tards.
Or the PDP old, you ancient piece of crap.
To be fair, if this is how they already built this gun, they should it depends, because it depends on what we mean by old, right? So they should put like a New York trigger on it, because those guys ride that trigger like nobody's business.
Dude.
But they should put a light slide, and they should put massive sights on it.
Yeah.
And just make it like the PDP-O.
Yeah. But if they're making the PDP-O,
no,
it's the PDP-AARP.
Exactly. But it needs wood grips and a hammer, and then it'll be perfect.
Yeah.
It's just got a fake hammer on the outside, like
exactly.
like a Savage.
It's stuck on there.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's a great business idea. Just like a glue-on hammer for Glocks.
My favorite is the Savage 1907 that is striker fired, but they had to trick you, and so they just put a little hammer appendage on the back of it.
I can say absolutely nothing, but I was asked my opinion in a professional sense about how to solve the arthritic problem, and I gave a good answer, but I can't tell you guys because that ship sailed. But
all right, thanks, loser.
It's like thanks, easy,
cool thing.
There are ways to help with this. It's actually a market too.
Shut up. All right, moving on. All right, he's not going to tell us. Trust me, guys, he's not going to tell us. I know him. So here's the question: how bad with guns are cops really? Like, are cops regular bad shooters, turbo bad, or super deluxe horrifying? Which one? Everybody? Okay, Othias?
I know from experience at the local range that 2 out of 3 of all demolishing of the sender units, what are they called?
The
robots,
the
right?
shuttle.
Yeah. 2/3 of all the target robots have been wiped out by police officers.
Okay, so what would you say? Turbo bad or super deluxe horrifying bad?
Okay, Shawn, are you ready for some role play?
Yes.
Okay. Why don't you pretend that I'm new to shooting and you're inviting me out to go shoot with you, and you're asking if I've ever shot before?
Yeah. Hey, I think that's a great idea. We should definitely do that, and we can make out afterwards. But let me ask you real quick: have you ever shot a gun?
Oh yeah, totally. My dad's a cop.
Never mind.
Okay.
Never mind. No,
I'll see you later. Actually. I just found out I have to get my stomach pumped.
I'm gonna decline to answer this because I have really, really bad confirmation bias on this, because all the cops that I know are awesome shooters, but I actually know them and I hang out with them because they are gun people and awesome shooters.
See, I'm the other way around, where I actually have hung out with them. And I remember in all the years we've been doing the show, when we pack guns down at the end of a range day, they all get cleared, they get in their cases, and then they come back, and when they're getting put away, they get cleared again. And the only time in history that I've done the second clearing and found a round in the chamber was a gun that was packed away by a former police officer friend.
Oh, boy.
Right. Well, so this story is about a tale as old as time. All your friends are together after going to the range.
Oh, no.
You're cleaning your guns, your sweet little 40 caliber guns.
How much of this is caused by the need to pull the trigger to disassemble those things?
Probably all of it.
Like, I'm very honest. Like, a lot of striker fires, you have to pull the trigger for disassembly, and it just seems like this was not a good idea.
Yep. The incident involved officers who had returned to the police station after a day of shooting range training. The officers involved were in the process of cleaning their weapons after the range training when a pistol unintentionally discharged, sending a single bullet into a concrete floor, which then put fragments into 3 police officers.
Steel body armor.
But that is, I love that there's a whole market for those tiny bullet clearing traps. And because it's like, we're like, what am I going to do with that? I can't test a gun in the shop with that. Like, it's not, all of them go to police departments because it's like, are you taking your gun? You got to put it in this hole.
Yeah.
We don't trust you to clear the chamber.
Because it's going to go off.
Yeah.
I have a sand bucket here that I have as a kind of trap. And one time I decided that it would be cool late at night to shoot a 22 into it. Mm-hmm. Anyway, I'm still cleaning sand up in the studio, and yeah, that's neither here nor there. It's just a funny little anecdote.
One time I shot a 22 short into a roof because my buddy said I wouldn't.
That'll teach him.
You both would make excellent police officers.
Matt's gonna choke to death on whatever he's eating.
It's a little raisin.
Look at Matthias over
not
here, the loser that actually follows gun safety and hasn't shot anybody or anything unintentionally.
It was funny.
I shot that bucket intentionally.
And it didn't go through the roof. Because it was 22 short.
Fair.
The one thing I've done is I've shot bird shot straight up in the air.
Right in front of me.
Yeah, because poor Matt, like his brain was falling apart. We were out, like he was like, "Oh, I need to make room to do clay shooting and stuff on my range and blah blah blah." I was like, "What? If you have enough range to shoot a rifle, you have enough room to shoot bird shot?" And he's like, "No, because it's up in the air." And I was like, "Matt, the terminal acceleration of bird shot," and I went, "Hold on," and I just like pumped one in and shot it straight up into the air, like where we were standing, because we were already shooting. Like I wasn't unsafe about it, but it's just like, we're on a range that's like set up for this. So I just shot it straight up. And he's just like, what do you do? And I was like, just wait for it. And then we just hear it tinkling all around. And he goes, oh my God, it's harmless.
Yeah, no, I was horrified when you did that.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know. I really haven't done much shotgun shooting, and I certainly haven't shot it straight up in the air, but I'm thinking like, no, if I shoot it up, it's gonna like, there's gonna be a house somewhere. It's gonna he just goes, just wait.
Buckshot, yes, that's like equivalent to throwing a 32 ACP over the berm. You know what I mean? But like bird shot, like especially like target load stuff. I mean, it's just, I mean, check your pellet weight, but by all means, the terminal velocity of that stuff in a 1G environment. I don't want anybody going to like Saturn and doing it and telling me that I screwed up.
But no, I was sitting there.
One.
And he takes this Marlin shotgun. He goes, just watch. And I'm like, what are you? And he's like, just watch. And he fires it straight in the air. I'm horrified. And then like, it was funny because before they came around, it hit me right on the top of the head, like perfectly on the top of my head. And I was like, oh, it's like rain.
It's like rain.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, that's how Dick Cheney managed to hit that guy in the face.
Yeah, no, it all made sense. Right?
Yeah.
Because I was always like, that's a 12 gauge. That's a 12 gauge. And I was also like a little child when that happened. But anyway, so that was just funny.
Well, you've lost.
But to your point, yeah, pressing the trigger is kind of like not ideal. If you're going to have an uneducated,
no, it drives me nuts in new firearms design. Because they would have never allowed it in the 50s. You know what I mean?
No.
Like they would have said no. No one would make a product that required that back then.
Except for those who would.
Mm-hmm.
But that's another reason I love the Walther guns. Until the cops, because Walther was trying to get police contracts, forced them to change the trigger to a Glock style trigger. The P99 and like the P38, everything, in between, to take it apart, you just hit the decock button, bloop, and then the slide would come off. Now with the PPQ and PDP, you have to pull the trigger, just like a Glock.
They were like, hey, that seems dumb. Let's do it.
Cops, will you buy some if we do it? And they're like, maybe.
They're like, Glock sell a lot. Let's do that.
All right.
Well, you have more stuff to do. So before you go into this ad read, I have to go catch a dinner appointment. Are you guys going to be able to behave without me?
Yes.
No.
Oh.
Okay.
Well, I mean, we're going to behave in the way that we normally do, which means we're going to be completely
do.
screwed up. And
just remember for the audio listeners that they can't see what you're doing with your dumb hands and your dumb faces.
I'm definitely not threatening. Yeah, I'm definitely not threatening anyone with this gun.
All right, I love you all.
I am not threatening the audio listeners right now with a brick.
I'm leaving. Goodbye.
Goodbye, Othais. Love you. He didn't hear me say I love him.
Yeah, he's whatever.
What if he shoots a shotgun in the air and it's a slug?
Oh no! I was actually mortified. I didn't know.
He missed your gun, your Dan Wesson.
Oh,
get him back.
No. I'll just have to show him in person.
Yeah, just text him a picture of your junk, but also have that picture in there. Which leads us.
We're going to talk about this, guys. Some of you, and if you're an audio listener, sorry, you're out because you're not going to be able to see this good stuff.
Matt we have a post great
sponsor. Okay. It is VZ Grips.
Yeah.
They sell products.
Ooh, you
are able. Go on.
Oh, sorry. I jumped the gun because I just saw something that I want.
Well, you are able to purchase a T-shirt, and it is available in size medium, large, extra large, and double extra large. No small.
Well,
all right.
They know their market.
That tells you what this company's about.
They know their market.
They know their market.
Smart.
Those big boys.
Those.
What do you want?
Those rail covers.
I knew it.
Those are cool.
Yes, they are cool. Just about everything on the VZ Grips website is made of this patented composite material that is hyper lightweight, super strong, and also beautiful. They make grips. They have rifle grips, grips for various handguns, and honestly, they're really cool as a company because when we first talked to them about coming on as a sponsorship, I was like, I want to see one of their products. Right. So I picked out a set of grips and I was like, all right, cool. I want this SVG lasered onto it. And I thought that they were going to tell me to go away.
So did I.
And they did not.
Oh, dang. So for the people who are listening, it is some white, very nice G10 grips with some anime engraved on it.
Yes. Well, it's not quite anime.
Oh, manga?
But no. Anyway, it's you wouldn't understand. It's art. There's a bunch of options with, and no, I'm not flagging myself. I pointed it up. Ooh, blue. There's a lot of options on the 1911s, and I just told him, I'm like, I'm putting these on a Dan Wesson Bruin, and he just immediately goes, okay. Didn't ask me for any more stuff, and I'm like, oh, that's weird. And so when I go to put the grips on this gun, I was worried because I loved the grips on this gun. I loved the factory grips. I pull them off, and I look underneath, and guess what it says?
Hello?
It says VZ Grips.
Of course it does.
Yeah.
They make a ton, man.
This is awesome. I took this gun out with these grips. This is the Battleship Gray 1911 grips. It's got their most minimal amount of serrations on it, and that was to be able to put my little drawing on it. But we were shooting this thing at 100 yards with these grips and smacking steel.
That's cool.
A lot of that is probably to do with the fact that it's an absurdly long 10 millimeter 1911. But I say that at least 1% of that ability to hit came from those grips.
That's awesome. What is that character? What's the character's name?
That's Hatsune Miku.
Hatsune Miku.
Yeah, she's a Vocaloid, a singing robot.
Oh.
Yeah, it's art.
Okay.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's really good art.
I'll check it out.
Yeah, you don't have to do that.
No, I'm shaking my head for those that are listening on the audio podcast.
Well, you know why I did that.
Yes, I do.
I was like, what would the owners of Dan Wesson's be the most upset about?
Yeah, exactly.
But I actually wound up falling in love with the gun. It looks so good with those grips.
It really does. I'm not.
If you guys are interested in something, go to the website, check it out. They support the show. They are cool. They are Floridians, at least some of them, because my package shipped from Florida. We have a coupon code. It is ThisWeek15, ThisWeek15.
Heck
And
yeah.
you will get pre-sent removed.
Dude, that's awesome. I'm gonna go buy some of those grip things.
Yeah, but you can't get the same engraving as me, okay?
Hatsune Miku.
Whatever. Yeah.
I can. I'll be
Moving
like,
on.
Hey, I want some art, and they'll just send that.
They'll be like, what's the best art you got? It'll be like this one guy. He sent in some good. Good shit.
You know what I want? I want some grips that are engraved with Second Amendment Task Force.
That's a wonderful segue.
It's the best.
That's a very wonderful sounding name, isn't it, guys? Well,
yeah.
If you think so, you'll be glad to hear that Donald Trump Jr., the chinless wonder himself, has launched the Second Amendment Task Force to fight the left.
All right.
This is wonderful. So, yeah, Fox News Digital quoted him as saying, basically all this stuff, the Second Amendment is under attack by the Democrats and the Biden administration, hell-bent on eroding our constitutional right to keep and bear arms, whether it's nominating radical gun grabbers to senior positions in the executive branch or pushing anti-gun legislation. The Second Amendment Task Force is entirely devoted to ensuring the left is never successful in disarming American citizens. But if the right does it,
yeah, we'll take the bump stocks and we'll go to court later.
Yeah, no, just take the gun. Okay, just take the gun.
All right, I'm gonna look at their website. Oh, he's on the front. Oh, there's two video of him and a picture of him on the.
Did they enhance his chin on the website?
Well, he's got the beard, so he's a fellow beardite, and because of that, I'm kind of down with it.
Look at this.
So it's 2ataskforce.com.
Look, 2ATF.
Oh, geez.
That's kind of okay. I can't lie. That's kind of slick.
It is. Good for him.
Yeah.
2ATF. That's good. Shall not be infringed.
It looks a lot less silly from the side.
All right. I'm going to tell you this right now. Everyone that I know that has met him thinks he's a pretty cool dude.
Okay.
And that's quite a few people, actually, that have met him. And some of them call him friends, and that he's like just a real nice, cool, chill dude. Oh man, you got to sign up.
No,
but yeah, and that he like true outdoorsman. I know he's doing some like outdoors content with one of these. I don't remember which one it is. And Donald Trump's son. Like we talk so much, the news and the mainstream talks so much about Hunter Biden, whereas we got DT2 or DTJR. And he was with the 2ATF, and like I don't know. I think I don't care for the persona that much, but like at the same time, I'm like, he just kind of seems like this is a person that we want on our side. It's
possible.
Yeah,
I just wanted to dump on the whole like left-right aspect of it because I think that's cancerous.
Oh, you're not wrong.
Yeah, guns are not a left-right issue, and you can tell that because most of the most pervasive gun control that we deal with every day is the result of the political right. It may have been the political right quite some time ago, but it still was and still is the way it is. You can't trust politicians one way or the other. So I don't know. It made me really uncomfortable to see how much of it was about the left. If you guys want to call me a leftist, that would be odd and incorrect, but feel free to do so. Just be sure to do it in a comment, which boosts our engagement.
Heck yeah. But yeah, I even follow him like on social media, and while he is reasonably political, he's also kind of savage, which should not make me like him. I'm like, this is not a feature that I think is this is not a feature that I put high on my list of character traits that I want in my friends, but also it kind of is, like he seems like one of the dudes that I hang out with, honestly.
Right. You do need strong people.
Yeah.
Especially in something that's so attacked like this. And you know what? I will say it. I know people who I've never met him. I know a bunch of people who have, and they have universally positive opinions of him. So he might be great. I don't exactly know what this thing is about. Whenever I see a new group with, hyper-partisan language starting up, it makes me kind of feel weird, right? Because there's a lot of, there's only so much money that we have, right?
Yeah.
And I wonder how efficient it is, right, to put it all over the place. But incremental progress is progress. If he's going for progress, Godspeed.
Agreed.
Just fight gun control from the left and right, please.
Do it.
Otherwise, we'll never get rid of. Well, I'm sure people want to get rid of the NFA and the GCA.
Yeah.
Right. Those were largely bipartisan.
Yeah. I mean, I see this as a fundraising opportunity. I will stand by with bated breath to see what kind of policy and what kind of issues they push with this organization. But this is a guy that I see when the NRA finally realizes that they have to dump LaPierre or be gone, that this will be the next executive director of the NRA. Stuff like that. That's what I see.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And it'll be interesting to watch. Anyway, we can move on. We've got a quick, just fun little story. A lot of you guys might have seen this on Twitter, where a Brit Bong journal lizard was... Oh, I opened the wrong screen. That was great. Yeah, cool. Hello from America, where Walmart doesn't have a plug adapter for my UK laptop, but on the other hand, I can buy a rifle and ammunition.
Oh, boy.
And, whoops. I hate clicking on things. Whoops.
Oh, boy.
Clicking on things is awesome.
I'm not even going to tell the audio listeners what just popped up on Matt's screen when he...
It was funny.
He clicked Twitter. It was a bunch of art. We'll say that.
Shut the... Not again!
Oh, boy.
Okay. The other hand, I can buy a rifle and ammunition.
And then a picture of said rifle and ammunition.
Yeah, and the rifles are, venerable, high-powered weapons such as the Red Ryder carbine, the Daisy Powerline 880, the Crosman 760 Pump Master.
Ooh, that's my porn name.
So that
it's hilarious.
Firearms.
What's this guy's first name?
I don't know, man.
Exactly.
Padraig?
Yeah. What's that thing over the A? Some kind of accent mark, tilde.
Accent aigu.
Yeah. I think his name is Patrick. Padraig. P weird accented A, Draig. So Padraig. Yeah, he posted video. The weird thing is literally 7 feet to the left is actual rifles. So if you're going to
there's not anymore.
Oh, yeah, there is.
Only it's not at all of them.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. I was at my Walmart, they still sell hunting stuff. They still sell rifles and shotguns. And yeah. I'm
sure I feel like if they did, he would, or maybe he wouldn't have. I don't know. But yeah, Daisy and Crosman are known for very low quality BB guns.
Well, yeah, they're selling them in a glass case at Walmart. So,
but not for real firearms, which they don't make.
No.
And our last little story is about Lawrence County school leaders who have started a GoFundMe in South Carolina to help purchase a gun-sniffing dog.
That sounds cool. The dog's just it's a Smith & Wesson.
There's this picture. I don't believe that these are real. Police dogs are the equivalent to a Ouija board,
Yeah.
They just bark when you tell them to.
I will say that they've used them to great effect overseas in the global war on terror, and that have
gun sniffing dogs.
Well, just like ordnance, and I mean, if you can figure out like a bomb or some kind of explosive material, why not be able to train to smell like gunpowder or the after effects of shooting, et cetera, et cetera.
I don't know if I buy it. I mean, I get the idea, I get the theory, but I just feel like those smells are so minute, right?
Yeah, but I mean, they can smell a seizure coming on, so.
Oh, that's true. I am not a dog.
I definitely am not either.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like, let's just say, for the sake of argument, that dogs are not robots and that they actually can smell these different things, and that they have these dogs like walking through the school, sniffing lockers, things like that. And like, I don't know, is that a terrible thing? It doesn't seem like it to me. I mean, if it's real, I'm sure they're going to get scammed. I'm sure they're going to raise all this money and get scammed. But like, if this was a thing, this is like, I don't know. We put up with it at the airport. We put up with canine cops. Is this not?
I don't know. I don't like that they suggest that the gun sniffing dogs will then also be used around the community.
Very interesting. Yeah. If that dog finds my cocaine, I'm going to be pissed.
Yeah.
Like if it finds my,
I wonder if the same dogs, like, can you use a gun sniffing dog for drugs?
No, because I think they only have a very like small nasal vocabulary.
Yeah, it's like he barks twice for drugs, once for high points.
Right. And if he throws up, he found a Springfield.
All right. Well, that was all a lot of fun, but we do have one final message.
Dun, dun, dun.
I'm going to pull it up on our communicator.
I'm ready.
Main screen.
Show me.
On Patriot Patch Company.
I love them.
They are nice to us.
They
support the show.
They do.
They support you with patches.
And I've got patches. I got patches everywhere. Oh, what's the May exclusive?
Yeah, the May exclusive. Never forget the price of peace. And it is a pattern 1903 sniper.
This is not one of my favorites, but that's the cool thing is they have so many different options.
Yeah, look at the recent ones here. 12-month review.
Yeah, the 12-month review is cool. Patch of the Month Club is awesome. Like you often get some, I mean, almost every single time you get some really awesome stuff. But if you go to the just like stuff for sale, not even the Patch of the Month Club, just the, no, those are stickers. Go to the patches.
Patches.
Yeah. Yeah. Look at these.
I like this. The Action Hero patch.
Oh, yeah. They did a whole bunch of those. I think there's a bunch. If you click on that, I think there's like several that related to Last Action Hero. Or the final incredibly active hero.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, see? They did like a whole series. I love those.
Neat.
If you like Arnold Schwarzenegger movies, you'll probably get a kick out of those. Patriot Patch Company, patriotpatch.co.
Yep, and coupon code TWIG10.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, thank you so much for watching. We will be with you again real soon.
You wish.